All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Pittsburgh Steelers rookie defensive end Jack Sawyer. I tell you what, Steelers fans, Sawyer is starting to figure it out as a situational pass rusher. Don't love his run defense, but his playmaking in the pass rush department is starting to emerge for the Steelers defense, and I think he's going to be a key piece of this front four, generating all kind of havoc, not just the rest of this season, but for many years to come. We'll break down everything he did so well, as always, in the comment section below. Give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews, want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's get started with the pass rush situation. There's Sawyer right there in a stand-up kind of three technique by alignment, but you can see it's a passing situation. They got Watt standing up over there. They got 51 standing up over there. They got 95 as their lone defensive tackle. It's late in the game, 2-minute kind of situation. So the Steelers, they got pass rushers on the field. And this is a situation where I think Jack Sawyer can really shine and did really shine here for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because what you get up front for the Indianapolis Colts is that the play side of the offensive line, that's these three guys over here in this particular play, they all take the gap to the left. Left tackle takes this gap, left guard takes that gap, and the center takes that gap, which means we're one-on-one on the backside, one-on-one right guard on Sawyer, one-on-one right tackle on TJ Watt. Now listen, you're a defensive end, a rookie mind you, but still a defensive end, one-on-one in a passing situation against the guard. You need to generate pass rush. You need to get pressure on the quarterback. You need to win here, which is what Sawyer does with an inside move, but he does it by maintaining control. He doesn't fly all over the place and open up a potential scramble opportunity for the Colts. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Pressure coming. Quarterback has to throw it. Nice throw. Good pressure, though. All right, let's break it down here. Let's watch Sawyer right here. Coming off the football. There's the inside move. Rip through there. Pressure right on the quarterback. That's what you want, right? Daniel Jones, the quarterback, can't step into the throw. You see he's kind of flat-footed. Still delivers a good football down the field, but that's not on Sawyer right here. This is a really good job. And this is what the Steelers really need when it comes to passing situations, because outside of number 97, who, let's be totally honest, as a pass rusher at this point in his career, isn't what he used to be. Still a great player. Love me 97, but the reality is he's your father time's undefeated. On the outside, they're really good with guys like Watt, 51, 56, right? They're really good there. But they need some guys who can rush on the inside, and I think Sawyer's becoming that interior pass rusher in these passing situations. Again, one-on-one with the guard, wins outright, gets good pressure on the quarterback, doesn't do anything stupid. Sometimes defensive ends get in this position, and they try and, swim move all over the place. They, kind of get washed down and blown out of the pass rush lane. Sawyer maintains lane integrity, gets pressure on the quarterback. Colts still complete the football, but good D. Now for the wide copy, you can see Sawyer in the middle of your screen. Rip through the right guard, pressure on the quarterback. That's good work, right? Again, it's not always going to be perfect defensively. Sometimes you're going to get pressure and they're going to complete the pass down the field, and sometimes you're going to get no pressure and it's going to be incomplete, right? That's the NFL, that's football. But over the course of a long season, especially in key 2-minute situations, and look, it's going to come down big games for the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens, against Lamar Jackson, other quality opponents down the stretch. Fourth quarter, 2-minute right before the half, can you generate a pass rush? Can you put a turbo group of pass rushers on the field like we see here in winning these situations? I think Sawyer can do that, and I think will be a big part of this defense going forward. All right, sticking with the pass rush, and there's Sawyer lined up on the other side of the formation on this play. This time, he's going to do a good job being a team defender, so it's going to be a stunt to the left side of the Steelers defense. We're going to have the edge player over here. He's going to act like he's rushing upfield and then loop around just like this, and Sawyer's job is to pick this left tackle. He's going to basically fire out into him and block him and basically shock him, allow the edge player to rush through, and then Sawyer's going to become the edge rusher, working his way through there to become the contained player and the rush to the quarterback from that angle. 33 does this absolutely perfectly. Again, a weapon in these situations as a pass rusher. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Here comes the pressure right there. Has to throw it short. Rally, make the tackle, inbounds. Clock keeps running. Good 2-minute defense, right? All right, let's look at Sawyer in the middle of the screen right there. Fires into 79. Boom. That's what I like to see. That's how you run this play here. That's how you run the stunt. Boom, right there. Open up your buddy to come around. No chance, right? If you're going to pick, make it count. Love that right there. Now, maybe you'd love maybe a little more hands instead of just throwing your shoulder into him, but that's good football. I mean, we're talking nitpicky here at the extreme. Opening up for your teammate, love to see that. Again, Quentin Nelson's out of whack. He can't pick up the edge rusher. Loop it around. Nice job. But here's the other part I like about Sawyer. So right here, he doesn't get caught in the trash. He immediately gets in his lane, turns around, and tries to get pressure on the quarterback. You got to do both, right? This is a great pick for sure, but it's a two-part problem. You got to become the outside rusher, because if you get caught inside right here, quarterbacks, especially good ones like the Lamar Jackson, for example, to be the most prominent, they'll see this guy looping around and they'll say, okay, I'm just going to escape. You got to have lane integrity. And once again, Sawyer's there. I tell you what, guys, he's a good, fundamentally sound football player, and in this role, he does a really nice job. Good job by 33. All right, for the wide copy, because he's Sawyer in the middle of your screen. Boom, right into left tackle. Good job. You can see this left tackle. He's trying to pass that, and then bam, he gets whacked in the side of his face. He gets ear holed by Sawyer. And listen, that's exactly what you want. You want to make these offensive linemen feel uncomfortable. An underrated part of pass rushing, right? We talk about affecting the quarterbacks, making the quarterback, in this case, number 17, uncomfortable in the pocket. You want offensive linemen to feel uncomfortable. You want them to not know, hey, where are the stunts? Where are the blitzes, right? Am I going to get ear holed here if I'm the left tackle? And if you're able to execute stunts like this, I guarantee you later in the game, 79, he's going to be like, listen, am I going to get ear hold here? Maybe I should slow down a little bit, maybe look out of the corner of my eye. And when that happens, you get speed rush around the end and you get sack fumbles, right? That's the kind of thing that can happen when you got a player like Sawyer doing his job. Again, filling a key role in the Steelers defense in this kind of situation. All right, how about some playmaking? And there's Sawyer right there on the left side of your screen. So it's going to be a fake handoff inside, and Daniel Jones, the quarterback, he's going to try and throw it out this direction, but the edge over here does a great job leaping up, deflecting the football over here, and guess who's Johnny on the spot? It's Sawyer making the pick. Again, sometimes it's about being smart, sometimes it's about being athletic, but a lot of times it's about capitalizing on the opportunities in front of you. 33 does it here. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the fake. Throw it outside. Oh, it was Peyton Wilson. It wasn't the edge defender. Excuse me, I got that wrong. Edge defender slants inside. They fire Wilson off the edge. Great play design by the Steelers. Confused me. I tell you what, good stuff here for Pittsburgh. But how about Sawyer, right? Getting blocked, coming around. Ball's up in the air, not very far. Right there, he catches it. Again, it's one of those things. It's weird. It's the TJ Watt kind of has this knack too, where the football just finds certain players. And I think Sawyer's that kind of guy, right? In terms of sometimes tackles for loss, sacks, and in this case, interceptions, the ball finds them. And some players, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's luck. I don't know if it's just a knack, whatever you want to call it. Sawyer's one of those guys. He was like this way at Ohio State, right? Where the ball just seemed, when it came to interceptions and fumbles and things like that, just seemed to find them. I don't know how to quantify it. I don't know how you can evaluate a player to determine if it sticks to the NFL or not. But 33 is one of those players where the ball just finds him and he takes advantage of the opportunities. Again, not like a crazy good play, good awareness and all that. So solid effort from 33. But I tell you what, as a guy on the field, he just seems to make plays and line up the stat sheet, which of course is very valuable for the Steelers. All right, for the wide copy, you're going to see right there, defensive end slants inside. Peyton Wilson comes, Sawyer picks it off. I'm going to give number 17, Daniel Jones, a lot of credit because there's a lot of quarterbacks right here, and that's a pick six. But he does a great job getting Sawyer on the ground. But again, 33, Johnny on the spot. To his credit, right, it's one of those things. You beat the block, you be aware, good hands. That's what I think it is, right? If you hustle and you're a good athlete, you'll make plays. That's what TJ Watt does, right? He gets sack fumbles, fumble recoveries, touchdowns, all that kind of thing, right? When you're a good athlete and hustle to the football, good things happen, just like we see here. All right, let's go back to some pass rush, and there's Sawyer right there on the right side of your screen. Weird play here from Sawyer. I don't know exactly what the call was, but 28 chips him here, and as Sawyer starts his pass rush, he actually stops. I think the call is here for the Pittsburgh defensively is that they have Sawyer check this running back, and if he actually looks like he's going to, maybe go out in the flat or leak out or something like that, then Sawyer should pick him up or maybe jam him or something, right? It's a weird concept. So Sawyer basically stops on his pass rush as 28 tries to jam him before he gets into the rush, but he does a pretty good job, despite a really awkward start, pushing this tackle into the quarterback, generating pressure on 17. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Quarterback has time. Here comes the pressure. Has to throw it short. Good tackle. Minimal gain. Good ball by 17. Again, you can see the left tackle right there getting walked into him by Sawyer. That's what you want to do. Make the quarterback uncomfortable. Now, this is a weird play. Watch Sawyer right there. He feels the chip and he kind of stops. I think it's one of these weird situations where 33's assignment is to chip 28 if he leaps out in the flat. 28's assignment is to chip 33. So like right there, this is kind of hilarious. They both have the assignment to chip each other, but because they're both assigned to chip each other, neither of them were actually supposed to chip each other, right? So it's a weird play. Again, kind of funky. Listen, though, give credit to Sawyer, again, doing his job, making sure he checks his assignment first. Love to see that. And then working through that, right? Because it's one of those things, I guarantee you right here, he would have been like, okay, that was weird. But he still puts his foot in the ground and still hustles and still gets pressure on the quarterback. And that's one of those underrated elements about Sawyer. He has some bad plays, and we'll highlight one of them in a second. But even on kind of awkward, weird things, it's going to happen for a rookie. It just will, right? No matter if you're a first-round pick or a mid-round guy like Sawyer, there's going to be some awkwardness. There's going to be some weird plays. But fighting through it and trying to still get pressure on the quarterback, that's good to see, like we see here. All right, for the wide copy, it looks kind of funky. Watch. I couldn't get enough of it watching the film. I kept trying to figure out what exactly was supposed to happen. I think they're trying to chip each other, but they don't need to chip each other because Both of them are signed to chip each other. It is such a weird kind of funky deal. It's like 1 in a million kind of play that happens like this. But again, Sawyer does a good job just kind of overcoming it. And listen, one of the things for defensive ends in this situation, if you're not going to win outright with a speed rush or a swim move or something like that, immediately go to the bowl. Immediately walk the tackle back into the quarterback and run your feet. That's the best move to make. One of the things I see from young defensive ends when they don't win initially or they actually get chipped a little bit, they still try and go back to a normal pass rush situation. You have to understand, which Sawyer gets instinctively, that right here, a second and a half has gone by, right? You're not going to win with a quick speed. The only thing you can win with is maintaining your lane integrity and bull rushing, just like we see here from Sawyer. Get some pressure on the quarterback, forces him to go short, rally to the football. Good job by 33. All right, next up, let's go with the pass rush from kind of a standard alignment. There's Sawyer right there on the right side of your screen. And what the Colts are going to do is they're going to play fake it inside of the running back, and quarterback's going to set up in the middle of the pocket and try and throw it to the corner route right here. They're going to bring a tight end in motion pre-snap, and his assignment is to chip the defensive end before he goes out into his route, right? Standard stuff. And Sawyer's responsibility here in this particular play is to not chip the tight end so he can get right into the pass rush, but he's got to avoid the chip before he gets into his rush. And he's one-on-one right here on a right tackle. And look, this isn't a win from Sawyer, but I love his approach. He's a guy that understands what he needs to do. He understands his limitations, and it still does a decent enough job by maintaining his assignment. Let's check it out. There's a motion. There's a snap. Play fake. Quarterback steps up, throws it to the right, and it's broken up. Good D. All right, let's look at Sawyer right here on the right side of your screen. You can see 84 coming. He avoids the chip, gets into the tackle, walks him back into the quarterback. Again, is this a win for Sawyer? Is this going to be a pass rush win if you look at, the guys over at PFF or whatever metric you want to use? No, I think the right tackle does a decent job, but I love the approach from 33, right? I love the technique. Threat with speed, avoid the chip, and right here, transition to power. Go into bull rush, walk him back. And you can see the quarterback. You see number 17, Daniel Jones. Is he stepping into this throw? Is he driving this football? No, he's kind of flat-footed. He's kind of fading away a little bit. What does it mean? It means he doesn't maybe get enough on it. Maybe wanted to throw it a little farther down the field. The result, they break it up, incomplete pass. And that's what you get when you push the pocket, right? You see guys right there who's that Y.A. Black doing his part. You see right here Sawyer doing his part. Do we have a three-man rookie rotation right here? We got Black, Harmon, and Sawyer right there. I tell you what, you talk about a future look for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. There you go. But this is, again, not a win from Sawyer, but it's still a pretty good job. Maintaining integrity the entire time, pushing the tackle back, forcing the quarterback to fade away. Overall, solid effort from 33. All right, for the wide copy, you see a tight end in motion. Sawyer avoids them and pushes the tackle back into the quarterback. Again, don't make it too simple. All right, for the wide copy, there's a tight end in motion. Avoid the chip. Push the tackle into the quarterback. Incomplete pass. Again, don't make it too complicated, right? Don't go into something funky, right? Don't do a spin move. Don't do some crazy, double arm over or something like that. Listen, dude, you may get there eventually, but right now it's all about getting a good job with your pass rush in terms of collapsing the pocket, making the quarterback uncomfortable, maintaining lane integrity, all the little things. And here's the thing that a lot of mid-round picks, especially young guys, rookies, need to understand. There's a reason you didn't go top 10, right? You're not like a freak athlete. You're not like a superstar in the making. So play like a good, solid, fundamental football player. Some of these third and fourth round picks, and this infuriates me sometimes, is they play as if they were like the number 3 pick overall and just say, oh, I'm going to do all these swim moves and do all this funky stuff. And I'm like, brother, there's a reason you went in the 5th round, right? Like, you've got some physical limitations. Sawyer understands that, just plays good, solid, fundamental football, helps out his defense like we see here. All right, quick break in the film review. Look, I was taught to break down film by my college coaches at the Division I level. All the players are. It's just a fact of playing football at that level. And I want to take this opportunity to give you guys, the average fan, more opportunities to get that insider knowledge of how the game is taught at that highest level of college football. I created a checklist, a step-by-step guide for you guys, 100% free. That's based on how I was taught to break down film by my coaches, and then I use today to create these film reviews. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you right to it. I really appreciate it if you guys decide to get it. Again, 100% free, just trying to share information to you guys, stuff that was taught to me by my coaches. But without further ado, let's get back into the film. All right, now let's talk about something Sawyer needs to work on, and there he is right there at defensive end for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he's going to be one-on-one on the left tackle right here. He's just going to do a standard speed-to-power-ish kind of rush. It's not a great rush from Sawyer at all, and you can see the Steelers, they got a lot of people at the line of scrimmage, so they've created one-on-one matchups across the board. One-on-one here, one-on-one here, one-on-one there, one-on-one there, one-on-one there, right? The goal was to create one-on-one matchups, and they did it. And here's the thing. If you're going to get a one-on-one matchup in this situation, you've got to do a better job than what we're going to see on this next play. I don't know what happens here. He doesn't get chipped. He doesn't slip or anything, but it's just not a great effort from 33. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Nothing there, guys. I mean, that's not ideal. The running back is coming to chip him, but he misses him completely. I don't know if Sawyer expected a chip and it didn't come, so he got kind of in an awkward spot. But you need more than this, right? To just hug him up right there and not get any push and get locked down, that's not ideal. We've seen better from Sawyer. When you're in a one-on-one situation, you're trying to do speed to power, listen, I like it. Threaten a field. Now put your helmet in his chest and walk him back. And I think, honestly, what happened is he got caught, right? Right here, he's probably like, maybe I want to go a rip move or something, and he was too late to do it. He's just lost all momentum. And that can't happen, right? It's one of those things. If you get these one-on-one opportunities, you got to do better than that. And listen, let's look at TJ Watt. He didn't get a sack or anything on this play, but he's a one-on-one opportunity. What does he do? Go inside, not there, go outside, beats a tackle eventually. He's a little late to do it, but he wins eventually. Right here, Sawyer, you need to win before that. You need to make some moves. This is something, listen, if you're going to bull rush, that's fine. Walk the tackle back into the quarterback like we've seen a lot during this film review. This right here, in my mind, isn't going to cut it. Need more from 33. All right, from the wide cop, you can see at the top of your screen there, doesn't get chipped. The chip misses him, and he just totally gets locked down. This is the one downside from Sawyer, is that he has plays like this, and he has a couple every game. And I understand he's not a first-round pick. He wasn't like Derek Harmon or anything like that. But I'm just like, man, there's so many plays where you look really good, where you get some pressure. And, you don't have to win every rep. You just have to, do your job and push the tackle back and make the pocket collapse somewhat. But there's too many plays where it's just like this, where he does a rush and he gets totally locked down. That's something he's got to improve on. It's his bad plays. He doesn't have a lot of them, but he's got to make the bad plays a lot less bad, to be totally honest. If every bad play can be like we saw 2 plays ago, where he walks the tackle into the quarterback, that's good. Something for Sawyer to work on going forward. All right, it's in on another pass rush, and there's Sawyer right there at, I'll call that a wide 3 technique. Obviously, he's a stand-up pass rusher in this situation for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, he's just going to run just a straight power bull rush inside. What the Colts do up front is these 3 offensive linemen are on the play side. They're all going to take the gap to the right. So the right tackle is going to take this gap, the right guard's going to take this gap, and the center is going to take this gap. Let me clean up the picture for you guys here. So it's basically 1-on-1, 72 out here on TJ Watt, which means Sawyer's going to come through here. And again, he does a great job taking on the tackle, and the center comes over to basically collapsing this entire offensive line segment right here, creating chaos, creating havoc. That's what he needs to do consistently. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the pressure. Quarterback has to hit the check down. 84 is a good player, but they get him on the ground. All right, let's look at this play from a pass rush perspective. Let's look at Sawyer right here. Take on 71, throws him into the turf. Look at that. Look at this move. This is actually a really good move right here. Fake the inside, rip through like this. Now do a hump. Look how he put 77 on the ground right there. Who is that? I think that's 77 for the Colts, right? 71, excuse me. Put him in the turf. That's like a Reggie White hump move, guys, right there. Look at that. Right there inside, lift him up. Now, the center is there to kind of push him on the ground, but you see the pocket collapse, right? You see the pressure that's happening around the quarterback. Now, unfortunately, look just the way it works out. 97 doesn't win. Quentin Nelson's a good player. 51 and 90 don't win. Maybe a little bit hands to the face, maybe a little bit holding there technically. I don't know. It's close. But this is what I want to see from Sawyer every once in a while. This is his mix-up move, right? I love speed to power. I love the bull rush. How about this little hump move right here with his... He's a strong dude. We all know that. Get inside these offensive linemen and take your inside arm and just toss them, right? That old Reggie White hump move, I think that's going to be a huge part of Sawyer's arsenal going forward, especially in situations like this where the Steelers, they got their pass rushers on the field. And this is where I think Jack Sawyer will shine in the Steelers defense. They needed a group where they could put guys on the field, athletic guys on the field that could make plays and get after the quarterback. They didn't have this in the past, guys, and I think they got it with Jack Sawyer. Now, is he perfect? No, I think he's got to be a little bit better against the run. I like him to, avoid the really bad pass rushes, but he's very quickly becoming a key part of the Steelers defense, and he's only going to get better from here.